This is Mato. Welcome to the King Hunt, Part 2. In this awesome DVD, we will focus our attention on the attack on the castle king on the squares. H7, H2, the Greek gift, F6, F3, G6, G3, H6, H3. You will see fantastic chess combinations, and you will learn the patterns, and then you will know when is the right time to sacrifice pieces. For the attack on H7 and H2 square, which is called the Greek gift, I will give you an exact formula which to follow. And the last chapter is the icing on the cake. In the last chapter, you will see some of the greatest queen sacrifices of all time. I hope that you will enjoy it. Welcome to the Greek gift chapter. This is a position from the game Morgunov and Tsigankov, played in 1956. It is white to move. Is this position ready for the Greek gift? The Greek gift is when white sacrifices the bishop on H7. What are the key ingredients for sacrificing the bishop on H7 for the Greek gift? These are the key ingredients. Black has castled, of course. If black rook is on H8, then it doesn't work. White knight can easily jump to G5 with check. White queen, usually from D1, can go to H5 or G4 or sometimes to D3. White bishop is on C1, H6 diagonal. White pawn is on E5, preventing black knight from going to F6. So in this position, we have everything. So in this position, we have everything that we need in order to sacrifice the bishop on H7. So let's start. Morgunov played bishop takes on H7 check. King takes bishop. Knight to G5 check. King to G8. King to G6. Doesn't work in this case at all, because knight takes on E6 check. White is winning the queen. But sometimes King to G6 is better than queen. Sometimes King to G6 is better than King to G8. But not in this case, because the queen was already on G4. Back to our game. King to G8, queen to H5, threatening queen to H7 checkmate. But then black plays rook to E8. How would you continue? Queen takes on F7. The rook is no longer... The black rook is no longer defending F7, so queen takes on F7 check is the best move. If queen goes to H7 with check, then the king goes to G8, and after check, knight to G8. It takes longer to win this game. So, back to our game. Queen takes on F7 check. King to H8. White to move. How would you continue now? White played a move and black resigned, and the move is... And the move is knight takes on E6 attacking the queen. And the move is knight takes on e6, attacking black queen and more. If black wants to save the queen, then queen takes on g7 checkmate. And if knight to f5, saving the king, then knight takes on d8. And if rook takes on d8, queen takes knight. And white is easily winning. Let's go back to the starting position. This is the position. And everything is in place to sacrifice on h7. Okay, let's see some more examples of this awesome Greek gift. Okay, let's move to another game. We want to see more examples of this awesome Greek gift.
Buying individual chess courses to add to your collection can get expensive, and waiting for the course or video you're looking for to go on sale can take weeks or even months. So, what's a chess enthusiast to do? Introducing the iChess Club, an exclusive community of chess enthusiasts that enjoy a wild range of benefits, including a permanent 40% discount on virtually all chess courses on our shop. Yes, 40% on all items anytime. But wait, there's more. For those of you who like physical DVDs, we offer unlimited free shipping on all items, anywhere in the world, anytime. You'll also get access to the entire iChess.club library, where we post over a dozen exclusive new videos every month. Our lineup of presenters is of much higher quality than anything you can find on YouTube, with exclusive videos by Simon Williams, Damian Lemos, Valerie Lilov, Brian Smith, Eric Rosen you can't find anywhere else, and even private appearances by world's top grandmasters such as Anatoly Karpov, Judith Polgar, Susan Polgar, and more. There are dozens of other benefits as well, such as an additional 5% off all items already on sale, a free 30-minute preview of every single product in our shop, and the ability to purchase items at the sale price up to 30 days after the sale has ended. There are so many benefits we can't possibly list them all in this video. So, join the iChess Club community today and start saving. Joining is easy and you can cancel at any time. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up today.
This is a game between Harry Nelson Pillsbury and Chessray. This is an amazing chess game in which Pillsbury played a blind simul, and this is one of his games of that day. He started with e4. His opponent played e6, d4, d5, the French defense, knight to c3, knight to f6, bishop to g5, pinning the knight, unpinning, and now bishop takes knight on f6, bishop takes bishop, knight to f3, and black castled kingside, bishop to d3, b6, e5, bishop to e7, white to move. How would you continue? Perhaps some people would castle kingside. Pillsbury played h4. What is the purpose for this move? He is intending knight to g5. Black played c5, intending c4, and we have reached the critical position of the game. It is white to move. The question is the position ready for the Greek gift? Let's see. We have knight to g5 ready, and queen to h5. What if bishop takes knight? Then pawn takes bishop, and the file for the rook opens. So, all the elements are there. Of course, black knight can't go to f6 to defend h7. So, Pillsbury played bishop takes on h7 check. King takes bishop. Knight to g5. Bishop takes on g5. If king goes to g8, this doesn't help because queen goes to h5 and white wins. So we have bishop takes on g5, pawn takes bishop discovered check, king to g8. How about king to g6? Is this better? Then queen to h5 check. And after king to f5, how would you continue? Then rook to h3, intending rook to f3 is winning. Even after c takes on d4, white is winning. Rook to f3 check, king takes pawn on e5, and then queen to h2, checkmate. Back to our game. So, play with the black pieces, played king to g8, white played a move and black resigned, and the move is queen to h5, black resigned. The king can't escape. If f5, then, and after rook to e8, queen to h8, checkmate. This is a classic example of the Greek gift, isn't it? Okay, let's move to our next clip. This is a position from the game Maja Ciburianidze and Vladimir Malanyuk. It is white to move, Maja to move. The question is the position ready for the Greek gift? What do you think? Well, bishop is ready to take on h7. How about the knight? The knight can't go to g5, but it can go to e7 if needed. Queen can't go to h5 or d3, or maybe she can. Maja did her calculations and went for the Greek gift with bishop takes on h7. King takes bishop. What is the follow-up? Queen to h3. King to g8. Let's take it back. If king goes to g6, then queen to g4 check. And after what? Knight to g5. Then knight to e7 check. King to h7. Queen to h5 checkmate. And what else? If king goes to h6, queen to h4 checkmate. Back to our game. So, Vladimir Malanyuk played king to g8. White to move into checkmate in one, and the move is knight to e7, checkmate. Okay, let's move to our next game. This is a position from the game Fritsch and Luckert, played in 1989. It is white to move. Is the position ready for the Greek gift? Well, there is no knight to go to g5. But rook can be lifted and rook can go to h3 or g3. Queen is ready to go to h5. And the position is ready for the Greek gift, even without the knight, because black king is so lonely on the king's side. So, Fritsch played bishop takes on h7 check. King takes bishop. Queen to h5 check. King to g8. What is the follow-up? Is it rook to e3 to h5? Or there is another move? Fritsch played the best move. Bishop to g5, attacking the queen. Black is in trouble. Rook to e7 was played. If f6, then pawn takes pawn. Knight takes on f6. Bishop takes on f6. And now, rook must take rook. On e1 we check. Rook takes rook. If queen takes on f6, then rook to e8 check is winning. And what else? If in this position g takes on f6, then rook to e3, and after queen to f8, rook to g3 check, queen to g7, you can take the queen, queen takes on d5 check, and so on, and white is winning. Back to our game. So we have rook to e7, rook to e3, queen to e8, intending rook takes on e5, maybe. White was forced to play an ordinary move. Bishop takes rook, queen takes bishop. How do you continue now? Rook to h3, intending queen to h8 checkmate. f6, making some room for the king to escape. Queen to h8 check, king to f7, rook to h7 threatening to take the pawn on g7, defending. Is black holding? How do you continue? Fresh forces must be sent to the front line. How do you do that? First e6 check. King must take, and then rook to e1 check. Black resigned. Was it too early? Let's see. If king goes to d6, one line goes like this. Rook to e8. Queen, this is just one line. Queen takes queen, rook from h takes on h8. Knight to b6, h4, g6. Rook from h to g8. King to d7, rook to e1. King to d6, rook takes on g6, bishop to d7, rook takes on f6. White is winning. And that's when black plays the best defense. And let's go back. And if instead, after check, king goes to f7, then rook takes on g7 check. And after queen takes rook, then white simply plays what more? Queen to e8 check mate. Amazing, isn't it? Okay, let's move to our next game. This is a game between Frank James Marshall and Amos Byrne. Marshall started with d4. Byrne played knight to f6, knight to f3, d6, bishop to f4, knight from b to d7, e3, g6, bishop to d3, bishop to g7, knight from b to d2, and Amos Byrne castled kingside. It is a white move. How would you continue? Perhaps castling kingside comes to mind. What do you think? Marshall played h4, intending h5, rook to e8, h5, sacrificing the pawn. And offer was accepted. What did Marshall have in mind? He sacrificed the exchange. Rook takes on h5. G takes on h5. It is white move. The question is the position ready for the Greek gift? Do we have all the elements? Knight going to g5, queen going to h5. It looks like that everything is there. So, Marshall played bishop takes on h7 check. King takes bishop. Knight to g5 check. King to g6. If king goes to g8, queen takes on h5. And after knight to f8, queen takes on f7 check. King must go to h8. And then, how would you continue then? Then, castling queenside and rook to h1. Check is winning. Back to our game. King to g6 was played. White to move. Queen can't take on h5 now. How would you continue? Marshal played knight on d to f3. e5. That move makes sense, because white king is lined up with the black rook. Knight to h4 check, king to f6, knight to h7 check, king to e7, knight to f5 check, king to e6, knight takes on g7 check, king to e7, knight to f5 check, king to e6. How would you continue now? You can go for a draw by giving check on g7. But to win, how do you win? Marshal played d5 check, sacrificing the knight on f5. King takes on f5. Queen takes on h5 with check. King to e4. White played a move and black resigned. What would you do? Marshal simply castled queenside. Black resigned. f3 check mate could be next. Or maybe black can prolong the game. Just this funny looking move prolongs the game. After f3 check, king goes to f5, but then queen takes on g5 check mate. Amazing, isn't it? Okay, let's move to our next game. This is a position from the game Denka and Robin played in 1934. It is white to move. The question is the position ready for the Greek gift? We don't have the knight to go to g5, but queen can readily go to h5. Well, Denka sacrificed the bishop on h7. This is check. Well, Denka wanted to sacrifice the bishop, but the offer was not accepted. King to g7 was played. Let's see what will happen if black plays king takes on h7. Then queen to h5 check, king to g7, queen to h6 check, king to g8, queen to g6 check, king to h8, rook takes on f6, and white is winning. That is why Robin played king to g7, queen to h5, sacrificing the bishop. Pawn takes bishop. What did player with the white pieces have in mind? He played queen to g6 check, king to h8. What is the follow-up? What would you do? Denka played bishop to g8, threatening queen to h7 checkmate. Rook takes rook check. If rook takes on g8, queen to h6 checkmate. So we have rook takes rook on f1 check. Rook takes rook. Queen takes bishop on g8. Queen to h6 check. Queen to h7. White to move and to checkmate in one. And the move is rook to f8 check mate. What a beauty. Okay, let's move to our next game. This is a position from the game Emir Dizdarevich and Anthony Miles. It is black to move, Anthony Miles to move. The question is the position ready for the Greek gift? Should black take on h2 or not? Well, bishop on b7 is aiming at the king. Rook is ready to go to f6 and h6, and queen can easily go to h4. The knight is not ready to jump to g4 yet, but it doesn't take long. Anthony Miles played bishop takes on h2 check. King takes bishop. Queen to h4 check. King to g1. This is all good. But how to continue? When Anthony Miles sacrificed the bishop on h2, he already knew what to do in this position. What is the move? Is the move rook to f6? Should black play rook to f6? If rook to f6 is played, then f3, and black king would escape. So, Anthony Miles played this amazing move. Bishop to f3, preventing white from playing f3. Knight to d2, attacking the bishop. What now? Bishop takes on g2, threatening queen to h1, checkmate. f3. How about king takes bishop? Is that a good move? Then queen to g4, check. And after king to h1, what is the follow-up? Rook to f6, intending rook check, winning the game. Okay, back to our game. So we have f3, intending to play king to f2 if queen to h1 check is played. Rook to f6, knight to c4. Black played a move and white resigned, and the move is... What is the move? What would you do? The move is bishop to h3, white resigned. One line goes like this. Rook to g6 is coming, so it makes sense to make this move. Rook to d2, rook to g6, check. Rook to g2, bishop takes on g2, queen takes on g2, rook takes on g2, check. King takes on g2, and black is easily winning from this position. So we will stop here. That was an amazing attack by Anthony Miles, wasn't it? Okay, let's move to our next game. This is a position from the game Edward Alaska and Alan George Thomas. It is white to move. How would you continue in this position if you had white pieces? Please pause and find the best move for white. Did you pause? What did you find? Are you ready to see the move in a slow motion? Queen takes on h7 check. This is not a true Greek gift, is it? No. Usually it is bishop that takes on h7. Black played the obvious, it is check, so he must take the queen. King takes queen. Knight takes on f6. Double check. The king can't go back to g8. King to h6 was played. How about king to h8? Is this a good move? The knight to g6 is checkmate. So we have king to h6. Which knight gives check now? Knight from e to g4 check. King to g5. You have to keep checking. How would you continue? f4 or h4? h4 was played in the game. King to f4. g3, another check. King to f3. This is quite funny, isn't it? Black king is protected by his own bishop. Very funny. I find it funny. How would you continue now if you had white pieces? Edward Laska played bishop to e2 check. King to g2. Rook to h2 check. King to g1. White to move and to checkmate in one. And the move is king to d2 checkmate. This is one of the most amazing king hunts of all time. Do you agree? Okay, let's move to our next game. This is a game between Greco and a known player, played in 1620. Did you know that Greco was first ever professional chess player. He didn't have to work, he only played chess. Very lucky man. Greco started with e4. His opponent played e6, d4, knight to f6, bishop to d3, knight to c6, knight to f3, bishop to e7, white to move. Perhaps castling kingside comes to mind. Greco played h4. Unknown player castled kingside, e5, attacking the defender of h7 pawn. Knight to d5, white to move. The question is the position ready for the Greek gift? It is ready. Knight can easily go to g5, and if taken, h takes on g5, opens the file for the rook. Queen can go easily to h5 or g4. So the position is ready, and Greco sacrificed the bishop on h7, check, king takes on h7, knight to g5, check, bishop takes knight. If king goes to g6, then queen goes to d3 with check, and after f5, pawn takes pawn en passant. And if king takes on f6, what else? King takes on f6, then queen to f3, check, king to g6, h5, king to h6, queen to e4, threatening checkmate on h7, blocking with the rook, but then knight takes on e6, discover check, and white wins the queen. Back to our game. So we have bishop takes on g5. Do you take the bishop or you play queen to h5, check first? Is it the same? It's not the same. You go to take the bishop first. If queen goes to h5, what happens then? Then bishop goes to h6. So we have h takes on g5, discover the check. King to g6. If king goes to g8, then queen to h5. And after f5, g6, and white is winning. So we have king to g6, queen to h5, check, king to f5, queen to h7, check, g6. How do you continue now? The king can't go back. The fastest way to give checkmate is queen to h3, check, king to e4, and there is checkmate in one. And the move is queen goes to d3, checkmate. What a beauty. What a beauty. Okay, let's move to our next game. This is a game between Sandstorm and Holm. Played in 1912. Player with the white pieces started with e4, e5, knight to f3, attacking the pawn, knight to f6, the Russian defense, knight takes on e5, d6, knight to f3, knight takes on e4, knight to c3, knight takes on c3. How do you recapture? Most of the time it's a good idea to capture towards the center, but d takes on c3 was played in order to activate the dark square bishop. Bishop to e7, bishop to d3. Castling, white to move. Should white castle too? Castling kingside looks like a sensible move. Sandstrom played h4, intending knight to g5. Rook to e8, bishop to e3, knight to c6. White to move. The question is the position ready for the Greek gift? Looks like everything is in there. The knight can go to g5, queen can go to h5. So, play with the white pieces, sacrifice the bishop on h7, check. Well, believe it or not, this is not the strongest move. Queen to d2 is the best move. Never mind. Bishop takes on h7. Check was played. King takes on h7. Knight to g5, check. King to g6. Let's take it back. Amazingly, king to g8 is the best move, believe it or not. Black should have played king to g8. One line goes like this. Queen to h5. Bishop takes on g5. H takes on g5. But then king to f8. And the king escapes after check, believe it or not. Queen takes on g7. Bishop to e6. Castling king to d7. And black king lives. Amazing. Back to our game. King to g6 was played. There is a saying that life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forward. The game continued. h5 check. King to f6. Queen to f3 check. Bishop to f5. g4. Queen to c8. Knight to e4 check. King to e5. If king goes to e6, how would you continue? Then queen takes on f5, checkmate. So we have king to e5, queen to f4, check, king to d5. How would you continue now? You need to bring more pieces to the front line. With the white pieces, castle at queenside, check, king to c4. White to move into checkmate in one, and the move is... What is the move? Knight attacks the queen. This is double check, discovered check, checkmate. So in this case, the Greek gift was not completely sound, but it worked. Okay, let's move to our next game.